Welcome to ADHD Power Tools, where we give you the tools to unlock the power within. Hello, Brooke. Today I want to talk to you about anxiety. I want to ask you, what is the link between ADHD anxiety and what are some tools you can give us to treat it?
Yeah. So ADHD and anxiety can be an umbrella. So it can go hand in hand. And people can struggle with anxiety related to specifically their ADHD. So it could be a symptom of someone who's diagnosed with ADHD. But so often people are misdiagnosed with anxiety or depression, but really the underlying symptom is ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be, like I said, a symptom of ADHD, or it could be that you have ADHD and a generalized anxiety disorder or anticipatory anxiety or other types of anxiety disorders on top of it, because ADHD very often has a comorbid diagnosis as well, like learning disability, anxiety, OCD, ODD, and so on.
Yes.
So the link is interesting. So when people are newly diagnosed with ADHD but have struggled with anxiety, sometimes just by treating their ADHD, their anxiety decreases.
Mm-hmm.
So by having behavioral approaches like a coach, cognitive behavioral therapy, a psychologist, medication, all of those things can treat the ADHD, which then lessens the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But then someone who actually has an anxiety disorder also needs other types of treatments and can benefit, of course, from cognitive behavioral therapy, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a coach. But to treat some of the anxiety, not only medically, you can create more systems into your day. So anxiety is created by you not feeling a lack of control in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it is the cognitive reframing. But if you don't get enough sleep, it increases your anxiety symptoms. So the typical things that you would think of for someone who wants to manage their anxiety: getting reliable sleep, having enough water, not drinking too much caffeine, making sure you get the right nutrition to balance your fuel, making sure that you surround yourself with people who lift you up and inspire you and support your goals and your core values, lining yourself with your goals, and really just structuring your day and your time and your community around things that energize you.
100%. For me, whenever I feel anxiety, it's usually when there's a little work overload, the ADHD symptoms, the executive functioning. Okay, how am I going to structure my day? How am I going to tackle my to-dos? Oh no, tomorrow is a long day. There's so many things to do. I'm procrastinating. I'm disorganized. My room's a mess. My notes are a mess, and that's when things start trickling in. And I always fall back to there's three categories I look at, three main things to make sure, I to relieve the anxiety and the stresses that come. I think health, number one, like you said, sleep, diet, exercise, make sure those are all being met, as well as mindfulness. Mindfulness, I think, is a part of health too. Having some alone time, relaxing, breathing, let your thoughts flowing. The second would be mindset. Another thing you brought up: who you're surrounded by. What's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? What are your accomplishments, and what are you grateful for? I always think back to there's three things I always try to remind myself. Um, One thing is something to look up to, whether it's my mom, dad, God. Make sure that the great gratitude reciprocates. Another thing is something to look forward to, whether it's your family, seeing your family, your friends, your goals, vacation, or even a good organized room. And another is someone or something to chase after, an inspiration, some motivation. something to chase after, and your hero, I guess you could say. So that's in the mindset category. And then last but not least is discipline. I make sure I'm disciplined, organize my environment, make sure my routines on point, planning ahead of time, prioritizing, and using my time wisely. And that's I always fall back to those three categories and make sure everything's being met. And I ask myself, what am I feeling? What's the problem? What's triggering it? And I write down whatever's on my mind.
Mm.
Writing is very key. I mean, and write with a pen and paper. Pen and paper is the best way to do it. I mean, you could type, but the way I like it is pen and paper, writing down my thoughts, and writing all these down and falling back to those three things: mindset, health, and discipline.
Yeah, when you write down, it activates your working memory. So I love writing things down by hand too and journaling. And it sounds like you have a lot of really good strategies for mindfulness, which is awesome. I love the fact that you have something to look forward to. There's so many cool things about mindfulness. And just one thing I would love to share with everyone is that behavioral approaches are extremely important. Reframing negative thoughts, like you said, most of our thoughts are negative. We've spoken about that before. 2/3 of our thoughts are negative. So starting with the positives and the wins for the day, but also some anxiety disorders. So not anxiety related to your ADHD.
Hmm.
So the things that you mentioned are anxiety related to your ADHD. But anxiety disorders, some of them might need to be treated, or you might want to consider going also with a medical approach too. So trying different medications, seeing if that can support you as well. So
100%. Yeah, consulting with a professional and talking to the professional or someone who knows better and getting those tests and seeing what's best for you.
yeah.